I never thought I'd care this much about office politics. Honestly, I used to shrug it off, laugh along when someone got teased, and convince myself that as long as I did my job, none of it would matter. But then she came along. Her name was Vanessa Reynolds, and from the moment she stepped into the office, she made it her personal mission to make me feel small. It started subtly, the kind of subtle that's easy to ignore. A sarcastic remark about my outfit, a laugh a little too loud at something I said in a meeting. The little things I brushed off, telling myself I was overreacting. But over time, the pattern became impossible to ignore. She mocked my ideas in front of the team, corrected me condescendingly when it wasn't necessary, and made jokes at my expense that left me red-faced. And it wasn't just me. She had this way of planting seeds in people's minds, making them question my competence without me ever realizing it until it was too late. One Monday morning, I had reached my breaking point. Vanessa had just finished a presentation she barely prepared for, and yet somehow the boss, Mr. Harper, was praising her insight while mine got dismissed. As soon as the meeting ended, she turned to me with that smug smile of hers and whispered, "Maybe if you dress like someone who knows what they're doing, they'd take you seriously." Everyone in the hallway saw. Everyone laughed. And I felt that familiar heat of humiliation creeping up my neck. I went home that night, replaying the scene over and over in my mind. I thought about confrontation, about telling her off, but I knew it would backfire. Vanessa thrived on attention. She loved being the victim when things didn't go her way, and I wasn't about to give her the satisfaction. No, if I wanted to win, I'd have to do it my way. I started paying attention to her. Not in a creepy way, well, maybe a little, but in a careful, strategic way. I observed her habits, her routines, the things she bragged about to coworkers. Vanessa had this carefully curated image of herself, perfect, untouchable, successful. But everyone has skeletons. Everyone has something they hide. It was just a matter of finding it. I didn't have to wait long. One day, I overheard her on a call with a contractor named Marcus Ellis. Her tone was nervous, almost desperate as she negotiated terms that clearly violated company policy. She was covering something big. I didn't need the details yet. I just knew I had leverage. Over the next few weeks, I became what you might call patiently observant. I kept track of every little slip, every inconsistency in her stories, every small lie she told to cover her tracks. Vanessa was meticulous, but even meticulous people make mistakes. And when she made them, I was ready. The opportunity came during the company's quarterly review. Everyone knew it was the one meeting where performance and conduct could directly affect raises and promotions. Vanessa was scheduled to present first as usual, flaunting the projects she'd led and the clients she'd secured. I knew she would try to overshadow me. She always did. When her presentation started, I was quiet, taking notes, pretending to be the attentive, polite coworker I usually was. But inside I was ready. I had compiled emails, contracts, and screenshots, proof of her deception, her manipulation, and her outright lies. And I had a plan. Halfway through her presentation, as she was boasting about landing a major client, I raised my hand. "Actually, Vanessa," I said, keeping my voice calm, professional, "I think there might be a discrepancy with that client's records. Would you mind explaining this email chain I found?" The room went silent. Everyone turned to look at me. Vanessa froze, her smile faltering. I continued, methodically presenting the evidence I had gathered. Each screenshot, each email, each contract she'd signed under false pretenses. It was all there, laid bare for the entire team, and most importantly, Mr. Harper to see. Vanessa's face went pale. She stammered, tried to explain, but the more she talked, the worse it sounded. Her lies had trapped her, and there was no way out. My colleagues like Rachel, Tom, and Linda, who had been subtly aware of her manipulations but never had proof, stared in shock and disbelief. I watched as her carefully constructed image crumbled in real time. The confidence she exuded for months melted away, replaced by panic. Mr. Harper, who had always been slightly suspicious of her, finally looked at her with the kind of disappointment that cuts deeper than anger, and then she turned to me, eyes wild, mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. You can't do this. This is private. You're ruining me." She shouted. I stayed calm. "I'm not ruining you," I said evenly. "I'm exposing the truth. You've made it very easy." After the meeting, the fallout was immediate. Vanessa was called into HR, questioned, and ultimately suspended pending an investigation. Her reputation, which she had cultivated so carefully, was destroyed in a matter of minutes. And the best part? People who had once laughed at me or doubted me now looked at me with respect, even admiration. They knew what I had done required patience, intelligence, and courage, but I didn't stop there. Vanessa had made the mistake of underestimating me completely. I knew if I truly wanted this to have impact, I had to make sure everyone understood the full extent of her deception, not just in the office, but publicly enough that she couldn't salvage her image anywhere. I carefully compiled everything into a report and presented it to upper management. I made sure it included indisputable proof, contracts, emails, recordings where she misrepresented facts, and even instances where she tried to sabotage others. The HR department was thorough. They confirmed everything. Vanessa was terminated, and the company released a statement noting that her departure was due to serious misconduct and violations of company policy. It was concise, professional, but everyone in the office knew exactly what had happened in the weeks that followed. Vanessa tried to salvage her reputation, but her lies had caught up with her. Former colleagues refused to recommend her. Clients who had once trusted her walked away. And even her social media posts, carefully curated to show her success, were scrutinized by people who now knew the truth. She was untouchable, no longer. As for me, I didn't gloat. I didn't throw it in anyone's face. I went about my work quietly, letting the results speak for themselves. My performance improved without her interference, and Mr. Harper finally recognized my contributions. But every now and then, when I saw Vanessa struggling to explain herself in a new job, or when I heard rumors that she was trying desperately to find employment, a small, satisfied smile would cross my face. It wasn't about revenge for the sake of revenge. It was about justice. She had spent months humiliating me, undermining me, and trying to destroy my confidence. I simply held the mirror up to her, letting the world see her for who she really was. And in doing so, I discovered something important. Patience is a weapon, and knowledge is power. I've learned to trust my instincts now, to never ignore the little things, and to never underestimate my own ability to fight back, not with anger, but with strategy. Vanessa thought she could break me, but she underestimated me. And in the end, that was her greatest mistake. Sometimes, I see her name pop up in industry gossip threads, always accompanied by some warning or cautionary tale about her behavior. And I remember those days when she mocked me, thinking she was untouchable. I think about the first time I overheard her nervous call with Marcus Ellis, the first little piece of evidence I collected, and how carefully I had woven it all together until the moment of truth. And I realized, not without a quiet satisfaction, that it wasn't just about exposing her. It was about reclaiming my own dignity, showing myself that I was capable of standing up to someone who tried to belittle me, and proving that integrity, patience, and meticulous planning can be more powerful than brute force or aggression. So yes, she mocked me at work, she laughed at me, and she tried to make me feel small. but I made sure everyone knew her darkest secret, and in doing so, I didn't just win, I redefined what it means to fight back. And now, whenever I walk into the office, I do so without fear, without hesitation, and without anyone daring to underestimate me ever again, because sometimes the quiet ones are the most dangerous.